Hello everyone. I know you haven't got your coffee, you're fading away. It's the end of the day, you don't want to say hello. That's okay. How about we'll say it in Vietnamese. We say hello in Vietnamese. In Vietnamese, we say xin chào. Okay, that's better. Can I ask you to do one thing? Because my topic is about connectedness. And connectedness is about human to human. It's about us talking to each other and working with each other. It's not about machines. And I'm not talking about AI, obviously. So can I ask you to do one thing? To turn to the person on your right and say xin chào and shake their hands and introduce your name. Can you do that? You have 1 minute to do so. Can you do that right now? Xin chào. Okay. So there you go. You get to know the person on your right. I'm going to talk a little bit about how Saigon Innovation Hub and Ho Chi Minh City is very much looking forward to building an ecosystem in the region, and obviously in the end, I'm trying to connect with all the various ecosystems around the world. So let me first start with a question. And this is a question that I took out of the Startup Genome report. How Stockholm, a relatively small startup ecosystem, can produce scale-up firms at such a high rate. The next is why Chicago, an ecosystem 3 times bigger than Stockholm, does not produce most of them. Anyone wants to have a wild guess? No, you don't want to talk today, obviously. Okay, I'm going to just go to the next slide. And if you look at this particular slide, you can see that startups that are nationally focused grow less than any other startup that are globally connected. In actual fact, if you are globally connected as a startup, you grow 2.1 times faster. So you don't have to do the math. Do we have to be globally connected? Obviously, as a startup, as an ecosystem builder, you want your startup to grow faster, to reach the world, to actually exit with valuation, right? And if you look at this, an ecosystem builder, and we are an ecosystem builder for Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, one of the top 10 startup hubs in Southeast Asia. If you look at this, you can see that ecosystems that are having a lot more inbound entrepreneur connections are actually at the top. They're actually bigger, they're actually growing faster, they're actually the top ecosystems in the world. So we don't have to look no more at whether we want to be globally connected or not. It is something that we have to do, and it is something that we have to do today. There's no question about it. If you look at the ecosystem life cycle model, as an ecosystem builder, I look at ecosystem life cycle, and I want to understand what I have to do next, right? So when I look at it, if you look at the first phase of an ecosystem development, you can see that the first phase is activation. That's when you tell your startups, let's start up, let's do something, let's build your company, let's have an idea, let's collaborate, let's start something. But it's all about propaganda. It's about promoting the entrepreneurship spirit. And you have all these youngsters coming out there, starting up and failing at 99.9% rate. But that's okay, because that's the first phase of development. What we have to do is we have to, at the end of the first phase of development, which is the activation phase, you then have to look forward to the next phase of development, which is obviously globalization. When you look at globalization as a second phase of ecosystem development, you are connecting your startups to the global fabric of knowledge. You actually get them to achieve global market reach, and you actually enable large exits. And once that's done, when you have some good exits in your ecosystem, you will be able to recycle the resources from those exits back into the ecosystem, because after the exit, what do? These startups will come back and invest into their own ecosystem. Investment can be in terms of finance, it can be in terms of knowledge and understanding. So the more you drive your ecosystem towards globalization, the more your ecosystem will be growing, and the support that you have for startups would be a global support. So at Saigon Innovation Hub, we are now building the foundation for Ho Chi Minh City as one of the startup and innovation ecosystem in Southeast Asia. And if you look at the 10 foundations that we're putting together, you can see that everything that we're doing is about global. You look at the first two foundations, global partnerships and strategic alliances, you can see that we have been, in the past 6 months, reaching out to all ecosystems around the world just to be connected, just to share experiences, just to ask people to come and work with us and learn from them. We look at the verticals in Vietnam, and we see that the industries that we would like to develop would be agriculture, number one, tourism, clean energy, and obviously, we would be very interested as well to grow emerging technologies. So we look at those verticals and we identify ecosystems around the world that are top in those particular areas, and we are open our hearts and minds and say, please come and help us and work with us. If you look at events, we are co-organizing quite a few events regionally with various associations and organizations around the world to be able to share experiences, to be able to call people to get to Ho Chi Minh City, understand Ho Chi Minh City, and find Ho Chi Minh City a home for them to promote startup. Global education and research, we look at the capacity of the ecosystem, because we can't continue to provide propaganda anymore and ask everyone to go and start up. We have to put some knowledge back into the community in Ho Chi Minh City, and hence we're now working and we're open to work with any of you who would like to come in and help us in terms of building our education and also our research capacity for the future, because we understand that we're going nowhere if we don't have research capacity and we don't build and invent and have inventions, and we don't have patents that we are going to file in the future. Apart from that, we run quite a few exchange programs with ecosystems around the world, one of which is this program that have been running for the last 6 months. We have signed with 6 different countries to run a program called Runway to the World, which is a startup exchange program. And what we do is a market access program. So we don't go there just to go shopping. You don't send people over there to go shopping and just to have fun and, to go to a boot camp and that's about it. We actually match our startups with industry experts who would be able to give them the network to navigate the market. And at the end of 3 months of Runway to the World program, we actually have a KPI that the startups need to have either, number one, a partner on the ground, or be able to pilot their project in the market that they go to. We have tried this with South Korea already. So South Korea has sent their startups to Ho Chi Minh City, and within 2 months, the 3 startups that were sent to Ho Chi Minh City have already got their first pilot implemented in Vietnam. So that's the result that we have done. So far, we have worked with partners like Magic from Malaysia. I think Ka Sing is sitting there. She's your next speaker. She's my big partner from Malaysia, from the government agency of Malaysia. We work with Quest Ventures and later on with IE Singapore for startup exchange with Singapore. We signed with German Accelerator to also do exchange programs. And just to let you know, half an hour ago, I just signed an MOU with Thailand, with Rise from Thailand, to do a startup exchange program with Thailand as well. So congratulations, Thailand. Just to let you know before I go, in November this year, we'll hold our International Tech Festival in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and it's going to be a regional event. So we'll have 9 villages of different verticals. If you're interested in visiting Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, and working with us, stay tuned and keep that in mind. So I'm going to leave with 3 key questions. Three words. I think for us, going global is not a choice anymore. Going global is a must. However, how do you do that? And I think for us, ASEAN community is already a free economic zone. So it's very natural that Vietnam is working with Thailand and with Malaysia, with Indonesia, you know, to get together and work together and build this ecosystem together. I would like to see such programs as Runway to the World to be expanded within the region first, and then over to other regions in the world as well. I'm leaving you with 3 keywords that are very close to our hearts. Number 1 is global, number 2 is collaboration, and number 3 is co-creation. However, all those are very business-driven. I would like to finish my talk with just a message that whatever the startup or innovation ecosystems are, whatever we're doing in startup, whatever happening in the tech industries, I think it's important that we human beings are connected. And I think it's important that we are nice to each other, that we are treating each other right. And that's the core foundation for any ecosystems, for any businesses to go global. Thank you very much.